You're listening to the third series of Behind the Rhymes, the mountain we all climb, with me, Maja.
And me, Andrew. Finally woken. Wake and feel the sun on my face. Feel divine. Look to my side and see you reclined. Feel the warmth of your skin. Lay listening to breaths as the day hurries on, a timeless caress. Lay for eternity in a companion's embrace, the face of an amazing woman full of beauty and grace, fingers entwined. The past behind us, the future ahead, doubts diminishing, lovers instead.
What lies behind these rhymes, Andrew? What have you woken from?
Again, as with poems, there's different interpretations to this, so you can see it as I think you're hinting at, you've woken to a new relationship, or this also could be about being in a place, in a bed with a new partner or someone you love, and that sort of you're waking from sleeping and that person is next to you, and then the realization that
it's not a dream.
No, and that person's next to you, and here you are in a relationship.
And the happiness of a new relationship.
Yes, so the morning sun on your face, and putting the past behind you, looking ahead, getting some over the doubts that people have at the start of relationships about themselves, about the other person, when they're bringing traumas from previous relationships with them.
There is an overwhelming tenderness in this poem.
Yes,
there's no dilemma. It's just joy, calmness.
It's written that way. That's a feeling that I had. That's what I'm trying to convey. It's the serenity of waking up with the sun on your face. You know, the warmth of that sun in the morning, the start of a day, the start of a new relationship. It's a serene period.
You certainly convey that message very well. This poem, Finally Woken, is a part of a segment from the mountain to the waterfall, which is called The Peak. Am I right to think that these are poems about a relationship at its peak or at its height?
I think, we've talked about this before. We talked about the structure of this book. The peak is not necessarily the only peak you'll ever have. This is the first peak, essentially, after starting out on a relationship. So these are those calm, loving emotions at the height of the first peak in a relationship. Not to say that all the peaks don't come afterwards. But I think it's, you're never going to repeat that initial feeling like this. I know some people chase this feeling. It's why some relationships don't continue, because people get addicted to this feeling, and it doesn't last because it can't last. And so they try and repeat that feeling with other people, but you are constantly, trying to. It's like a drug, you can't ever repeat that. It's a one-off experience. And it may last months, it may last weeks, it may last longer, but it's not going to last forever. It's a very unique and specific part of a relationship that I was trying to capture.
I'm not sure if you're aware, but the way you express this sounds very similar to how mountaineers talk about reaching the peaks. There is a recognized addiction to going to another peak and another peak and another peak, which for some people can end up tragically when they overestimate themselves, or when they don't assess the situation well and just continue towards a peak and end up dying because of lack of judgment.
Well, you know more about hiking and mountain hiking than I do.
Yes, I've read a lot of books about mountaineering because it is an interest of mine. And the way you described the addiction to the new feeling of reaching a peak sounds really very similar to the description of that feeling of addiction of mountaineers who go to, especially to very high peaks.
It's probably adrenaline, and when you talk from a hiking point of view, it's probably adrenaline, isn't it?
Well, it's probably adrenaline in a relationship as well,
mixed
and
in
hormones.
with mixed in with other things as well. Though you know that dopamine that you get from those those warm feelings that you have, that feeling of not being alone, that comforting feeling, that warmth that you get, not just from the sun, the warmth from a relationship as well.
Yes, finding a compatible person, or what do you think is a compatible person?
Yes.
So you could say that this feeling you can equate to being at the top of the mountain. Then you mentioned that there are other peaks. Is this how you describe it in your books, or in especially in From the Mountain to the Waterfall, or is it described as reaching a top of one mountain and then descending?
This book that we're talking about is a very specific journey. It's not one journey. It's actually multiple journeys that essentially I have taken. It's me. It's my life, my romantic life from 18 all the way to 49. It's structured in a way that this is one episode. This is one walk. This is one journey.
One mountain.
Yeah, but the book ends in a valley. But as you know, on mountain ranges, the valley is just one step up towards repeating that journey again. And it's not mentioned in the book, but it's, and it may be a bit tedious to say, this is another journey, and it's another journey. But the implication is that this is not the end. This is just one journey of lots of journeys. The cliche, the peaks and troughs of relationships. This is exactly what this is. It's one peak, one trough, one journey, to be followed by another and another with the same person or other people.
It's a wonderful way to describe your romantic life. It's certainly a very original idea. I haven't come across anything like that before. Are you working on something else now that this book is published?
There's another book that's in the final stages of completion.
Is that one about relationships?
It's about everything. It has relationships in there and lots of other things. I class myself as a humanistic poet. You may argue that all poetry is humanistic, but I am affected by my relationships, past relationships, the stories of other people's relationships. So I think there will always be a theme. This book is complete and finished, but there will always be a theme of emotion and relationships, because that's just how my life has been, and I know that's how other people's lives are as well. It's not a unique experience that I'm having here.
Now that we know what Finally Woken is about, would you like to read it again for our listeners, please?
Finally woken. Wake and feel the sun on my face. Feel divine. Look to my side and see you reclined. Feel the warmth of your skin, lay listening to breaths as the day hurries on, a timeless caress. Lay for eternity in a companion's embrace. The face of an amazing woman full of beauty and grace, fingers entwined. The past behind us, the future ahead, doubts diminishing, lovers instead.
You've been listening to Behind the Rhymes, The Mountain We'll Climb, with me, Maja.
And me, Andrew. You can find all poems from this series in my book, From the Mountains to the Waterfall of Love and Relationships, which is available to buy at Amazon and Waterstones, where you can also find my first book, After the Applause.
Thank you for joining us on this poetic journey. And if you want to come on our real mountain hikes, have a look at our website, hikingthebalkans.com, and drop us an email at welcome at hikingthebalkans.com.